Today, we're going to track a pretty dangerous predator in the digital world. It's a piece of malware that started out as, well, basically a common thief, and then evolved into a sophisticated international spy. This is the real story of the RomCom rat, and trust me, it's a warning you need to hear.
Right, so that image of a secret government lab, that's where a lot of people get it wrong. The truth is, many of the most effective, most dangerous cyberweapons out there, they aren't forged in secret. They're actually battle-tested in the criminal underworld, which makes them accessible, messy, and just incredibly dangerous for everyone.
So the real story here is all about evolution. The most effective cyberweapons today often don't start in some top-secret facility. Nope. They're built, they're tested, and they are perfected right in the trenches of the criminal underground.
And that brings us to our prime example, the RomCom rat. And that's RAT, for Remote Access Trojan. You can think of it like a digital skeleton key. What started out as a pretty straightforward tool for financial theft has completely transformed into a weapon used for global cyber espionage.
So how does a simple thief become a master spy? I mean, that's the big question, right? Tracing that journey is absolutely key because it reveals this fundamental shift, not just in a technology, but in the entire strategy behind these modern attacks.
You can really see the change in motivation right here. The early version of RomCom, it was all about the smash and grab. Steal some credentials, get a quick payday, and get out. But the modern version, it plays the long game. It's not about quick theft anymore. It's about espionage, gaining that persistent, long-term access to steal strategic data over time. It's really the difference between a burglar and a spy. Okay, so you might be thinking, espionage? That sounds like a problem for governments and huge corporations, not for me. But that assumption, that is exactly what these attackers are counting on. And this is where the story gets personal.
This is probably one of the most dangerous assumptions you can make in cybersecurity. The idea that you're too small to be a target is the exact vulnerability these advanced attackers are looking for.
So, here's the crucial part. It's all about the stepping stone strategy. A lot of the time, attackers don't target you for who you are, but for who you know. They'll compromise a smaller, less defended organization just to build trust and then launch their real attack against a much larger partner or client. You become an unwitting accomplice in a much bigger game.
And what are they after? Well, it's not just your money. They want your intellectual property, your client lists, your private emails, basically anything that can be used as leverage or as that stepping stone to a bigger target. We're seeing IT firms, legal services, even agriculture companies getting hit. If you hold sensitive data, you are on their radar. All right, so we know why they might be targeting you. Now let's get practical and look at how a tool like RomCom actually gets inside a network and what it's capable of once it's there.
It all starts with an email, but we are not talking about those sloppy, obvious spam messages we're all used to seeing. RomCom campaigns use highly sophisticated spear phishing. The emails look totally legit. They'll reference real projects, actual vendors, or timely industry news that you'd have absolutely no reason to question.
The second it's inside, it goes to work. First up, reconnaissance. It starts taking screenshots of your desktop and quietly scanning every single file on your device, cataloging anything that looks valuable.
Next, it takes control. It inventories your entire system. And, this is the crucial part, it opens up a backdoor. The attacker can now run commands on your machine as if they were sitting right there at your desk. And finally, the payload. After it's gathered up all the screenshots, files, and credentials, it packages all that sensitive data up and sends it back to the attacker's servers. The theft is silent and it's complete.
So, the thing that makes RomCom so incredibly dangerous is this. It's modular. Think of it like a set of digital Legos. Attackers can pick and choose which functions to include in each attack, tailoring it perfectly for a specific target. This level of customization makes it a nightmare for standard security software to detect.
Now, I know this all sounds really intimidating, but you are not powerless here. The threat is advanced, for sure, but the defense is built on fundamental, disciplined security practices. So let's get into the action plan.
First, train your people. They are your absolute first line of defense against phishing. Second, enforce multi-factor authentication everywhere. It is such a simple step that blocks a huge number of attacks. Third, use endpoint detection tools that can spot suspicious behavior, not just known viruses. Fourth, patch your software consistently. Vulnerabilities are just open doors for attackers. And finally, have an incident response plan. Knowing exactly who to call before an attack can be the difference between a minor hiccup and a complete catastrophe.
And that's really the core message here. These sophisticated attacks are often defeated by simple, consistent, disciplined habits. It's not about finding one magic bullet, it's about building layers of defense that can actually hold up when the pressure is on.
So I'll just leave you with this to think about. The threats are evolving, right? They're moving from simple theft to sophisticated espionage. The only question that really matters is, are your defenses evolving too? When that perfectly crafted email lands in your inbox, are your security habits ready for the pressure? Thanks for tuning in.